Hello, Heartland family, and welcome back to Next Door, your go-to destination for everything connected to the heartwarming, ever-evolving world of Heartland. I'm your host, and today's episode is not just another update. It's a celebration, a moment we've all been dreaming of, holding on to through the years, and finally, it's here. We've followed every chapter of this story with bated breath, from the laughter to the tears, from the heartbreak to the healing. And now, in the long-awaited Season 19 premiere, something truly extraordinary has happened. The impossible has become reality. Tai Bordon, yes, the Tai Bordon, has returned to Heartland. After years of silence, unanswered questions, and aching loss, the man who once left an indelible mark on our hearts and on the Bartlett-Fleming Ranch has walked back into the lives of those he left behind. His reappearance isn't just a plot twist, it's an emotional reckoning, a reunion layered with mystery, vulnerability, and hope. The impact of Tai's return has rippled through every corner of Heartland, from Jack's quiet strength shaking, ever so slightly, to Amy's stunned disbelief, to Georgie's tears of confusion and longing. This moment has stirred something deep in all of us. It's a return not just to a place, but to a family, a legacy, and a promise of healing long overdue. So buckle in, Heartland fans, as we dive deep into this jaw-dropping episode, unpack the emotional moments, and explore what Tai's return means for Amy, for the family, and for the future of Heartland. In today's deep dive breakdown, we'll take you through each step of how Heartland created this impressive comeback. We'll talk about how the show set the stage for his return, Amy's emotional response, Lindy's innocent but heartfelt response, Jack's emotional wisdom, Lou's inner conflict, Georgie's maturity, Tim's struggle between toughness and heart, and, most importantly, the quiet, raw, and tearful conversation Tai and Amy had that could change everything. If you are a fervent Heartland fan, please click the like button, sign up for Next Door, and let us know in the comments what this return means to you. Your thoughts, feelings, and memories. They all matter here. Now, get in your saddle because this is going to be a beautiful and difficult ride. Before we dive into the whirlwind of emotions in Season 19, Episode 1, we have to look at how Heartland set the stage for Tai Bordon's return. Breadcrumbs abound in Season 18, including Amy's quiet conversations with Jack about Tai's absence, flashbacks to happier times, and a few dream sequences in which she heard his voice or saw his silhouette in the distance. All of these moments slowly built the feeling that something wasn't quite finished. The biggest hint came in Season 18's final episode. During a stunning wide-angle shot of the Heartland Ranch at sunset, the camera lingering on a shadowy figure watching from a distance was a little too much. The angle was distant, and the lighting obscured the figure's face. But for longtime fans, it was unmistakable. Tai's stance, Tai's aura. The Heartland community's speculative bubble burst at that instant. Might it be? Was he really alive? And if so, where had he been? The answers to these questions are provided immediately in the Season 19 premiere. The episode begins calmly as life goes on at the ranch. Jack is doing his usual chores, Lindy is playing with her pony, and Amy is feeding the horses. It's quiet, almost too quiet. The barn door opens abruptly after that. Amy opens it and everything stops. There, standing in the rain, is Tai. Not a dream, not a flashback. The genuine Tai Bordon. His eyes are tired, and his face is older, but you can tell he loves you. Amy's hand slowly rises to her mouth, her knees nearly buckle, and the screen fades to black. Tai's return is not immediately explained on the show. It lets the moment breathe. That is the genius of the Heartland narratives. Additionally, it is time to investigate the reactions of each character to this miracle. Seeing Tai once more feels like being thrown into a storm without warning to Amy. In a stunning split second, everything she believed and buried comes crashing to the surface. Her initial reaction is shock. She stares at him as if he's a ghost. Her heart knows it's real, but her mind can't catch up. She doesn't run into his arms. Instead, she backs away, trembling, overwhelmed by disbelief and fear. It's not anger she feels at first, it's emotional overload. After all these years of grieving, of raising Lindy alone, of trying to be strong for her daughter, Amy had found a way to survive. And now, all of that is upended. When she finally finds her voice, her first words to Tai are filled with a mixture of pain and accusation. "How could you let me believe you were dead?" She doesn't say it to hurt him. She says it because the grief she carried all this time deserves a voice. The show beautifully captures Amy's struggle to balance rage and relief. She enters her mother's room later in the episode, clutches Tai's old jacket to her chest, and silently weeps, her tears entwined with those of hope and sorrow. It's one of the rawest moments we've seen from her in seasons. Tai doesn't try to interrupt. He gives her space, knowing that what he's asking for, forgiveness, reconnection, even love, will take time. But through every pause and glance, it's clear their love never died. It simply waited. Amy is torn between protecting her heart and allowing herself to hope again. And that emotional conflict drives her entire arc in this powerful premiere. Lindy's response to seeing her father for the first time in years is one of the most emotionally rich and pure moments in the entire episode. While the adults around her are stunned, guarded, or even overwhelmed with emotion, Lindy approaches the moment with the kind of innocence that only a child can bring. She doesn't remember the day Tai left. She didn't witness the heartbreak, the funerals, or the years of silence that followed. All she knows is the father she's heard about in bedtime stories, the man Amy told her loved horses, healed animals, and loved her and her mommy deeply. So when Lindy sees Tai standing in the doorway of the barn, soaked from the rain and hesitant to speak, she simply walks toward him, her little boots crunching in the dirt. There's no fear in her face, only curiosity. Tai kneels down, his voice cracking as he says, "Hi, I'm your dad." Lindy pauses, looks at him for a moment, then quietly says, "I know." It's as if she's been waiting for this moment her whole life, even if she didn't fully understand it. Time appears to slow down as she wraps her arms around him. That single gesture, so simple, so instinctive, cuts through years of separation and loss. Amy watches nearby, her hand covering her mouth as tears stream down her face. Because, in that moment, she's witnessing something sacred, the beginning of a bond between father and daughter that's been delayed, but never denied. Later in the episode, when Lindy excitedly shows Tai her pony and teaches him how she feeds the animals, it's as though no time has been lost. The child's heart doesn't need explanations. It only responds to love. And in this emotional reunion, Heartland reminds us that sometimes the most powerful healing comes not through words, but through the innocent trust of a child. The Heartland family is strong, steady, and full of hard-earned wisdom. But when Tai walks through the doors of the ranch alive after all these years, even Jack's stoic exterior begins to crack. The first time Jack sees Tai again, he doesn't speak. His jaw tightens, his eyes widen slightly, and he simply stares, as if trying to understand whether what he's seeing is real. And once he accepts that it is real, a storm brews inside him, a mixture of shock, betrayal, love, and immense relief. In a private moment, Jack takes Tai out to the barn where they used to work side by side. The place is full of memories, and Tai stands there, head lowered, knowing what's coming. Jack doesn't yell. He doesn't cry. Instead, he speaks with quiet intensity. "You left a hole in this place, in all of us. I had to watch Amy raise Lindy alone. I had to hold that family together, and I did it thinking you were never coming back. Tai tries to explain. The government protection, the danger he couldn't put them in, the constant fear. But Jack stops him. You should have trusted us to be strong. You taught us how. As the conversation unfolds, Jack's tone softens. He looks at Tai, really looks at him, and sees the man he once mentored, the boy who became family. You may have been gone, but I never stopped thinking of you as my son, Jack says, emotion breaking through his steady voice. That's Jack's gift, his ability to forgive, not by forgetting, but by understanding. He doesn't offer instant absolution, but he offers something more valuable, a path forward. And as he places a weathered hand on Tai's shoulder and tells him, "Welcome home, son," it becomes clear that no matter how deep the wound, Jack's heart is big enough to heal it. Lou Fleming has always been the practical one, the planner, the protector, the one who keeps things together when everyone else falls apart. So when Tai returns, Lou's emotions are complicated, tangled in both love and anger. She watches Amy freeze in the doorway when Tai arrives, and her instincts kick in immediately. Protect her sister, shield Lindy, question the truth. Her first words to Tai are laced with disbelief. Are you really standing here after all this time? Lou isn't just shocked, she's hurt. She remembers the nights Amy couldn't stop crying, the mornings when Lindy asked about her daddy and got silence in return. Lou lived the consequences of Tai's disappearance, and in her heart, she doesn't know if she can forgive him easily. But as the episode progresses, something shifts. Lou begins to see that Tai isn't just returning out of guilt or obligation. He wants to be home. She watches how he talks to Lindy, the way he stands in the same kitchen he once laughed in, and the quiet sorrow in his eyes when he sees how much he's missed. Later, she sits down with him, her arms crossed, but her voice sharp. "Do you have any idea what you put us through?" she asks. Tai nods, his voice full of remorse. "Every day. It haunted me." There's a long pause. Then Lou says, "If you're really here for good, then prove it. Show up, stay, earn back what you lost." It's not a declaration of forgiveness, but it's a beginning. By the end of the episode, when Lou helps prepare dinner and places an extra plate at the table without saying a word, we realize that beneath her tough exterior, Lou is willing to hope again. Because deep down, she knows family is worth fighting for, even when it breaks your heart. Georgie's response to Tai's return is a mirror of the maturity she's developed over the years. Gone is the impulsive teenager who once ran away or lashed out. In her place stands a young woman who's faced the world, trained as an athlete, and learned to carry her emotions with grace and strength. When Georgie first hears the news, she's away competing, but she immediately books the next flight home. And when she walks into the ranch and sees Tai standing there, she doesn't cry or shout or collapse. Instead, she walks up to him calmly, studies his face, and says, "I always believed you'd come back." Her voice is steady, but her eyes glisten with tears she's not ready to shed. Later, in a quieter moment, she and Tai sit together on the porch, and she tells him what his absence meant, not just to Amy, but to her. "You were the first person who believed in me when no one else did," she says. "I lost that belief for a while." Tai listens, guilt weighing heavy. But Georgie doesn't let the moment drown in sorrow. "But I also learned to believe in myself," she adds, "because of what you taught me." Her words aren't meant to shame, they're meant to remind. Georgie forgives not by forgetting the past, but by recognizing how she's grown because of it. And in doing so, she offers Tai something few others can, the assurance that his impact never truly faded. It evolved, just like she did. Tim is perhaps the most complicated when it comes to dealing with Tai's return. Always the tough guy, Tim. carries guilt, pride, and love in equal measure. At first, he can't even look Tai in the eye. His words are harsh. "After everything we went through, you just vanished?" But his anger hides a much deeper pain, the loss he never fully accepted. Late at night, we see Tim in the barn, holding a photo of Amy and Tai on their wedding day. He talks aloud to no one, his voice cracking. "She needed you, you know." Eventually, the walls break down. In a wordless moment, Tim walks up to Tai the next day, hands him a tool for a ranch repair, and says, "Get to work." It's his way of saying, "You're still family." The handshake that follows is rough, but genuine, and a sign that even the hardest hearts can heal. As the episode draws to a close, Tai and Amy finally sit down for the conversation they've both been avoiding, the one that holds years of pain, love, questions, and longing. It's late at night, the sky blanketed with stars, and they're sitting by a small fire near the riverbank. The silence between them is heavy, not awkward but sacred, filled with things too hard to say out loud. Tai begins, his voice low and raw. "I don't know where to begin. There's so much I missed, so much I should have said." Amy doesn't interrupt. She lets him speak. He talks about the mission that went wrong, the threats he faced, the months in isolation where he couldn't contact anyone without risking their safety. His eyes well with tears as he says, "Every day I thought about you. Every single day." Amy finally speaks, and her voice trembles. "I needed you. Lindy needed you. And when you didn't come back, it broke me." Her words land like stones, but they are true. She tells him about Lindy's first word, her first steps, the nights when she would cry for her dad, and Amy had no answer. Tai listens, tears falling, and says softly, "I never wanted to hurt you, but I did, and I'll never stop trying to make it right." The emotion in the air is thick, almost tangible, like a storm that's been waiting years to break. The crackling fire casts long shadows across the barn walls, the soft glow dancing over the faces of two people who have been through love, loss, and everything in between. Amy stands still, her breath caught somewhere between memory and reality. Her eyes, wide and filled with uncertainty, meet his. And in that moment, something shifts. She sees him, not as the haunted presence that's lingered in her dreams, not as a painful reminder of what once was, but as a man standing before her in flesh and blood. Real, solid, present. Tai. Her Tai. Not the man she lost, but the man who found his way back. Her voice barely rises above a whisper, trembling with emotion. "I don't know if we can go back to what we were." There's vulnerability in her words, a fear that what they had might have faded, that time and pain have carved too deep. Tai's eyes soften, and for the first time, there's no sorrow in them, only truth. "Maybe we're not supposed to," he says, his voice steady, grounding. "Maybe we're supposed to build something new, together." Silence falls between them, but it's not empty. It's full of possibility, of pain, of love that never truly left. Amy steps closer. Slowly, deliberately. She leans in, pressing her forehead against his, their breath mingling in the cool evening air. They don't kiss. Not yet. There's no need. The intimacy of the moment says more than 1,000 words ever could. The connection between them is undeniable. A spark that once burned bright, then dimmed through tragedy, now glows quietly, steadily, like embers waiting to become flame again. Outside, the wind rustles through the trees. Inside, the fire flickers gently, casting its golden hue on two souls who have fought their way back to each other. They sit down side by side, shoulders brushing. No dramatic declarations, just presence, just peace. They are no longer strangers to grief, nor prisoners of their past. They are choosing each other, not because it's easy, but because it matters. In that quiet night, surrounded by memories and healing, Amy and Tai begin again, not as who they once were, but as who they've become. And that's a wrap on today's deep dive into Tai Bordon's emotional return in Tai. Heartland Season 19, Episode 1. What did you think of the rawness in their reunion? Did you feel the weight of that moment? I'd love to hear your thoughts, so drop a comment below. If you enjoyed this breakdown, give it a like, and make sure you're subscribed to Next Door for more Heartland content. Don't forget to tap that notification bell so you never miss an update on your favorite characters and stories. Thanks for watching, and until next time, keep your heart open and your saddle ready.